Discover the hidden journey of self-worth, an incredible tale of life-changing transformation, in the small, weather-beaten town of Elmwood, where the endless fields of corn whisper secrets of old. 17-year-old Maya Thompson felt as if the whole world was leaning on her shoulders. Her father, a staunch veteran with a heart forged in the fires of sacrifice, had poured every ounce of his strength into keeping their family farm alive, yet it was crumbling like the aged barn out back. The pressure suffocated her, pressing down like the humid summer air. She looked at her battered sketchbook, its pages filled with dreams of vibrant colors and breathtaking landscapes, yet she knew those dreams felt painfully out of reach. Art is not a career, her father's stern voice echoed in her mind. So she pushed the sketchbook aside, trying to drown out a longing that wrapped around her like a vine, choking her spirit. She often retreated into the abandonment of an old community center, searching for solace, a hidden corner where she could hide what felt like a weakness, her desire to create. There, in the quiet dust motes swirling like memories forgotten, she stumbled upon Frank, an elderly artist with a beard like wisps of white smoke and eyes haunted by 1,000 untold stories. "Do you see those faded murals?" he asked, pointing to the peeling walls. "They hold the history of Elmwood worth saving." His words sparked a flicker in Maya's heart. Could art not just be her escape, but a bridge to her fading community? Juxtaposed against the anger rising like a storm in her family, whispers of a corporate takeover crept closer. The farm was in danger, her father's pride threatened, and the very soul of Elmwood hung precariously in the balance. As the townsfolk grew restless, Maya found strength in Frank's stories and the colorful splashes of paint they shared over countless afternoons. Together, they began to dream up a mural, a canvas that would bear witness to the town's valor and struggle. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. They worked late into the nights, pouring heart and soul into the mural that began to pulse with life, images of labor, love, resilience. Yet, just as the piece found its rhythm, the tension at home erupted. "You're wasting your time on foolish dreams," her father shouted, his face lined with frustration and fear, oblivious to the fire igniting in her spirit. The confrontation pierced Maya deeply, but instead of retreating, she felt uproar swelling within her, a strength cultivated from standing against the tide of expectation. The mural became not just an artwork but a lifeline, a call to arms for her community. The stakes were rising, the art fair was around the corner, and for the first time, Maya felt the stirrings of hope mixed dangerously with fear. As the clock ticked closer to unveiling day, her father's broken expressions haunted her, intertwining doubt and determination. Beneath the shroud of fear, a question lingered like the persistent hum of a storm: would she dare to step into her own light, or would she let the weight of tradition smother her dreams forever? The morning sun broke through the horizon, pouring warm light over Elmwood as the day of the art fair arrived. Maya stood before the mural, heart hammering against her ribs. The vibrant colors glistened with morning dew, whispering promises of new beginnings. She had poured every ounce of her spirit into this artwork, a reflection of her love for the town, her family, and herself. Yet, shadows lingered at the edges of her excitement. Her father's words, sharp as fresh paint on a canvas, replayed in her mind: foolish dreams. Each syllable cut deeper, reminding her that her world felt split in two. On one side stood her family's legacy, struggling but steadfast; on the other, the light of her creative fire, flickering but fiercely alive. As she stepped back to admire the mural, she saw familiar faces of Elmwood in every stroke: the farmers, the teachers, the children playing in the fields. These were the people who had shaped her, who looked to her for inspiration, and she couldn't let fear rob them of this chance to celebrate their unity. Together, they were stronger. Just as she was lost in thought, Frank appeared beside her, his eyes twinkling with pride. "This is it, Maya. Look how it captures our town's heart." His voice trembled with emotion, and he gestured toward the mural. Maya nodded, feeling a tightness in her throat. But what if my dad doesn't see it that way? What if don't focus on the what ifs? This mural isn't just for him, or even for you. It's for everyone. Let it speak for itself. She looked at him, searching for stubborn belief in his words. But what if it fails? Frank placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Failure doesn't define you, Maya. It's the courage to create that gives you worth. Just show up and let the art do the talking. As the townspeople began gathering for the fair, excitement rippled through the crowd like fresh paint splattering on a canvas. Maya felt the tension rise within her, thrilling and terrifying at the same time. Anxiety coiled around her, whispering doubts as she stood in the shadows of her own creation. Then, she heard a familiar voice cut through her reverie. It was Rachel, her childhood friend, with a group of folks from Elmwood. Maya. Look at that mural. You've really captured our spirit. Her enthusiasm buoyed Maya's resolve. Taking a deep breath, Maya stepped forward into the light. As people approached, the hesitant smile on her face transformed into warmth, igniting the space around her. In those moments, she saw their eyes light up, their smiles growing wider. Can I take a picture with the mural? Asked a little boy, his fingers pointing at a painted scene of children playing in the fields. Of course. Maya replied, feeling a glow of pride. Each interaction eased her worries as she found herself laughing and talking, connecting with the community she once felt so distanced from. Yet, as she entertained the visitors, she spotted her father standing awkwardly at the edge of the crowd, watching with an expression she couldn't read. Panic raced within her a moment before the warmth returned. She had to take this step for herself. In that moment of uncertainty, a deep thought pierced through her fear. No matter how he feels, I'll face him. With that resolve, Maya took a step toward her father, willing to bridge the gap that had grown between them. Just then, she felt a pull, a reminder of everything she had put into this moment. If she was to step into her own light, it had to be with her family right beside her. But as she approached, a loud voice rang out, drowning her urge to speak. We're taking this land. There's no place for a mural here. The harsh words, like a cold wind, shattered the vibrant atmosphere, eclipsing her hope. Would she be able to stand strong in the face of adversity, both from outside and within? What if she lost everything she fought for right now? Maya froze, the breath caught in her throat as the weight of the words hung in the air. She turned toward the source of the voice, her heart clenching as she saw a group of strangers, faces twisted with anger and resentment. They stood armed with signs, challenging what she had poured herself into for months. The crowd was shifting. Tension swept through the onlookers like a storm brewing on the horizon. She could feel their eyes darting between her and the men who threatened her mural, uncertainty and worry etched into their features. What are you talking about? She yelled, her voice trembling yet firm. The leader of the group, a burly man with furrowed brows, stepped forward. This land isn't meant for art. It's meant for development. You're just wasting space with this nonsense. Nonsense? The word hit her harder than any physical blow. It ignited the flicker of anger she had buried under layers of doubt. She had hoped this mural would serve as a beacon of hope and connection, not a battleground. Art is never nonsense, she replied, her voice stronger now. This mural holds the stories of our town, its heart and soul. It's a celebration of who we are, of our community. But disbelief hardened the lines of his face. Your community needs progress, not antiquated dreams. Progress. The word echoed through her mind, a cruel contrast to the vibrant image she had painted. Suddenly, her father stepped in, positioning himself beside Maya as if to shield her from the hostility. And what kind of progress do you want, exactly? His tone was low but steady, a defender-esque growl. The tension thickened. Maya felt the warmth of her father's side as if he was sharing strength. The surrounding murmurs quieted, eyes now focused on this unexpected confrontation. She took a breath, trying to nestle security within herself. preparing for the uncertainty ahead. Money, the man scoffed. Real estate developments bring jobs, prosperity. What good is a pretty picture? Maya sensed the shift in her father. Jobs are important, but so is culture. This town needs both to thrive. His voice carried a tremor of emotion that struck straight at her heart. She glanced up at him, a torrent of confusion swimming behind her eyes. Did he really understand her passion? At that moment, her courage felt buoyed. She knew she needed to respond, not just for herself, but for everyone else's dreams that were painted in those colors. The people who live here, we are the heart of Elmwood. This mural matters because it instills pride and reminds us of our roots, she said, conviction flashing in her eyes, feeling France's supportive presence just behind her. As the crowd shifted, some started to nod in agreement, faces lighting up with hope. Could her words weave connections? Before she could entertain the thought, the leader sneered. Good luck selling that idea. You're going to need it. He waved a dismissive hand, signaling to his group to back him up. In that moment, despair clawed at her gut. Were they truly willing to erase everything she loved so easily? Yet, she also felt sparks of determination rising within her, a reflection of every brushstroke and whisper of passion she had poured into the mural. I want to let you take this away. She exclaimed, desperation edging her tone. I believe it can bring us together rather than tear us apart. Art is where people connect, don't you see that? But the weight of their disdain still pressed down on her, and as they eyed her with disdain, she felt her resolve crumble a little. Would their disbelief drown her out? Suddenly, Rachel stepped forward, her voice breaking through the tumult. She's right. We need this mural. It unites us. The crowd responded with murmurs, hearts swaying like leaves stirred by the wind. Maya glanced back at her father. There was something in his expression, a hint of pride. Pain. She couldn't quite decipher it. But the hopeful flicker in the crowd reassured her that together, they still had a chance. As the confrontation loomed like thunderclouds above her, Maya stood firm, ready to fight for every color, every brushstroke that made Elmwood what it was. She clenched her fists, preparing herself for whatever was next. Would her community rally together, or would they let fear derail their unity? Maya could feel that moment hanging in the air, pregnant with potential. The battle for her mural had only just begun, and she was determined to hold her ground. But would she be able to find common ground with her father too, or would their differences splinter everything she fought for? Maya's heart raced as the murmurs of the crowd shifted to a low roar, their uncertainty morphing into a collective energy. The tension buzzed around her like static in the air, electrifying and unsettling. Each individual in that crowd seemed to hold their breath, waiting for someone to break the standoff. Maybe it's time to listen, said a woman's voice from the back. Maya turned, her eyes widening as she recognized Mrs. Wills, the librarian. The town's heartbeat was about to speak. This mural is important. We can't erase our past just to chase a future that doesn't include who we are. Nods rippled through the crowd, and Maya felt a flicker of hope igniting within her. There were still people who believed in her vision. With that energy pulsing like a drum beneath her skin, she straightened up, facing the group with renewed resolve. Thank you, Mrs. Wills. She shouted, drawing strength from the warmth of the crowd. This mural is a tapestry woven from our stories, our struggles, and our triumphs. It holds our memories, the laughter, the tears, the moments that shaped us. Exactly. Rachel chimed in, her voice breaking through the turmoil. It's not just paint. It's our legacy. Do you want Elmwood to forget who we are? As more voices joined, Maya felt something remarkable happen. The energy shifted again, and the crowd began to transform, mixing cheers with signs of solidarity. Some began to chant, "Save the mural." Echoing in the autumn air, a rising tide of unity pushing against the anchored weight of resentment. Maya glanced at her father, and for a brief moment, their eyes met. In his expression, she saw a glimmer of something, hope, perhaps. It was hard to read. But right then, she realized she needed that connection more than anything. She stepped closer to him, her voice softer. "Dad, it can be something good. Can't you see that?" He hesitated, emotions wrestling across his face. "I just don't want you to hurt," he finally admitted, his tone low but filled with concern. "I won T," she vowed, holding his gaze firmly. "But if we don't stand up now, we might lose everything." Suddenly, the burly leader of the opposing group raised his voice over the crowd. "This is just a show. You think a mural will save your town? You're deluding yourselves." Maya felt her stomach twist, the doubt creeping back in. Where was the line between blind hope and reality? But in that moment, something deep inside her swelled. No. We have to believe in ourselves and our dreams. If art can bring us together, it's worth fighting for. The crowd erupted again, the sound of support overwhelming. Something beautiful was happening. It wasn't just her mural anymore, it was their mural. Their memories were painted across its surface like a second skin binding them together. "Let us create something amazing," Maya declared, her voice now soaring above the din. She could see others stepping forward, their passion merging with hers, a powerful force against the opposition. But just as the tide seemed to turn in her favor, the burly man stepped back, a grin creeping across his face. "You want to play this game? Fine. Let us see what the town actually thinks." There it was, the threat that could shatter everything. In that moment, the spell was broken, the crowd's excitement cooling into uncertainty once again. Would this rally bring them together or fracture them further? Maya's heart pounded furiously. What was he planning? How far would this go? With a chill creeping up her spine, she had to wonder, would her community indeed stand beside her, or would they let fear pull them apart? As she looked out at the faces surrounding her, uncertainty danced with hope. Was this truly their moment to claim their identity, or would it be another battle lost? The answer hung tantalizingly in the air, waiting to unfold what would happen next. The murmur in the crowd grew louder, the collective pulse of Elmwood throbbing around Maya like a living organism. She could feel the energy shift again, the anticipation turning from mere hope to something fiercer. But that fierce energy was tinged with anxiety, the fear of a fracture looming just beneath the surface. "What do you mean, see what the town actually thinks?" Rachel shouted, stepping forward with fists clenched. "We know what we want." "Do you, really?" The burly man shot back, his voice dripping with sarcasm. "Let us take a vote. Let us see if this nostalgic romp is worth all this commotion." Maya's heart sank. A vote meant division. It meant risking everything she had fought for, shaking the very foundation of what she thought her community believed in. She fought to hold back the flood of emotions threatening to spill over. The thought of watching Elmwood split, possibly never to come together again, anchored her feet to the ground. "Please," she called out, trying to rise above the clamor. "Do we really want to let fear dictate who we are? This mural is more than just colors on a wall. It's a piece of us. Look at each other. We are stronger united than divided." Maya's words hung in the air like the scent of impending rain, but they felt heavy and uncertain. As she scanned the crowd, she noticed hardened expressions turn contemplative. A few faces softened, but others cast furtive glances toward the burly man, seemingly searching for validation. "No one is erasing history," Mrs. Wills chimed in again, injecting urgency into her tone. "This mural is our shared history. It's the laughter we've had, the pain we've endured. Why wouldn't we want to remember that?" But her words were met with a palpable silence. Maya's stomach twisted tighter. She could feel hope draining from the atmosphere as the reality of their situation set in. The murmurs began again, this time with hints of doubt. "Maybe we should just let it go," someone whispered. "Yeah, it's just a mural, it's not that important," another voice chimed in hesitantly. Maya's heart clenched. "It is important," she shouted, her voice cracking. "It's a reminder that we are more than just a sum of our struggles. It's a reminder that we can rise above them. For a moment, uncertainty mingled with the glint of inspiration in the crowd. She saw familiar faces, her neighbors, community leaders pausing to reflect. Maybe they weren't as divided as it seemed. Perhaps they just needed a reminder of who they were, but the burly man interjected, a mocking tone coloring his words. Looks like some of you have forgotten what it means to move on. He gestured to the group behind him, a few heads nodding in agreement. Maybe we should just move forward. Forget about the past. Fury ignited within Maya. Forgetting isn't moving forward. It's running away from who we are. We can shape the future, but we can't do it by turning our backs on our past. As the crowd shifted again, a woman near the front stepped forward, her face illuminated by a flash of understanding. Maya's right. We can't lose touch with our roots. This mural is part of what makes this town feel like home. Suddenly, rallying calls began to swell. One by one, voices began lifting, fueled by her passion and the woman's conviction. Home. Echoed through the square, a simple word, yet full of meaning, resonating deeper than anything else could, but even amidst this newfound unity, Maya could feel that storm lingering. The burly man seemed energized by their response. So you think this is enough? We'll see about that. This isn't over. Another wave of uncertainty washed over the crowd. Each soul in that space clung to the deciding moment. Maya clenched her fists, resolve hardening in her chest. Would they rally above this challenge? Or would that divide lead to loss? She knew this was no longer just about her mural, it was about their future, their identity tethered to this town's spirit. As tension crackled in the air like electricity, she called out, "We need to come together. Let us show them what we stand for." Their response remained deafeningly uncertain. All eyes turned toward each other, searching for answers in the faces they had known all their lives. Would they fight to reclaim their shared history? The air thick with anticipation, Maya sensed that one defining moment awaited them all. How long could they hold on to hope before it slipped away? And in that moment, she realized, this was deeper than a mural. It was about their very right to exist as a community. Would they rise to the challenge together, or would fear unravel the threads that bound them? Home. Echoed through the square, filling the space like the warmth of a shared memory. But the burly man scoffed, his laughter like a slap in the face. Do you really think chanting a word will change the minds of those who want to forget? The laughter hung in the air, bitter and cold. Yet, something flickered beneath the surface, of fire ignited by the call for togetherness. Maya looked around, paying close attention to the faces of the townspeople. Some were nodding, some were frowning, but all were being moved by the moment. Hope intertwined with fear, creating an electric energy. Maybe we need to see the bigger picture, said a voice from the back. It was Tom, the old shopkeeper who had given Maya her first job. He stepped into the light, revealing his weathered face, and for a brief moment, his eyes glimmered. This mural, it's a part of our journey. Each color tells a story, a trial, a triumph. Let us not bury it, but celebrate it instead. He spoke with the conviction of a man who had lived through decades of change. His words were like a river, moving steadily through the chaos. The crowd began to murmur in agreement. Maya felt her heart race. Yes. She added, her voice soaring. We have this unique opportunity not just to preserve a mural, but to remind ourselves that our stories are interconnected. Just like the mural, we are vibrant, flawed, beautiful, and strong. As she spoke, the burly man clenched his fists, his jaw tightening. But behind him, a few of his followers exchanged glances, uncertainty creeping in. Let us make this a celebration. Rachel shouted out, raising her arms. A festival to honor our roots. How about an event where everyone can share their stories? A ripple of excitement coursed through the crowd. The idea of transformation hung sweetly in the air. People began to turn to each other, discussing possibilities, their voices lifting in hopeful enthusiasm. Committees formed on the fly, plans for decorations and food shared in hurried whispers. Laughter broke the tension, and just for a moment, the future felt bright, but the burly man's face darkened. He stepped forward, his voice icy. "You think you're all friends now? This isn't just about memories, it's about progress. What good is history if it holds us back?" Maya felt her heart drop, a chill creeping through her spine. He was right, they could not let nostalgia gloss over the cracks in their foundation. This wasn't just a mural, it was a reflection of their identity. Progress doesn't mean we forget. She pleaded, desperation threading through her words. It means we grow. And we can grow from our past together. Suddenly, a voice broke through. It was John, the town's mayor, looking uncertain yet determined. "We can find a way to innovate while cherishing our roots. Maybe a community project that embraces both the past and the future." The crowd erupted in applause, the tensions shifting. Could this be the turning point they needed? Maya's breath caught in her throat. She realized that rising together was the only way. A grandmother stepped forward, her silver hair shining in the afternoon light. "We've lost too much already. Let us come together and create a mural that honors our journey but also our dreams." Applause echoed around her, but amid the cheers, Maya caught sight of the burly man, his eyes smoldering with anger. He stepped back, but his energy felt ominous, as if he were plotting a counterattack. And in that moment, a selfish worry crept in. What if they could unite, but he defeated their purpose in the end? Determined to not let fear creep in, she called out again, "We must stand firm. Let us turn our fear into strength. This mural, this community, we can weave them together." The air thickened with anticipation, the storm not yet dissipated. Would they truly come together in the face of opposition? Would the strength of their collective voices be enough? As they cheered, Maya felt a surge of hope but also knew the fight was far from over. The burly man nodded subtly to his followers, a hint of a plan swirling in the dim light. "Then let's see just how strong you are," he spat, a fire igniting in his expression. Maya clenched her fists. This was only the beginning. Could the power of their shared history outshine the shadows of doubt? Would they be ready when the real challenge emerged? The sun dipped lower in the sky, casting an amber glow over the square as the excited murmurs turned to a collective hum. Maya's heart raced, not just from the hope that had sparked, but from the realization of the battle ahead. The air felt heavy, almost electric, as she stood there, shoulders back, determined to meet the challenge head-on. "Let us get to work," someone shouted, breaking the tension. It was Rachel again, her eyes alight with passion. "We need volunteers. Let us start organizing and bring everyone in." People moved quickly, urgency consuming the moment. Committees began forming, and a sense of unity appeared to blossom, a community pulsing with potential. Maya joined the group working on ideas for the festival. Each suggestion was treated like a gem, a piece of the rich tapestry they were weaving together. "Food stalls featuring traditional recipes," suggested Tom. "We can document stories behind the dishes." "How about a storytelling stage?" someone chimed in. "A place for everyone to share their tales, families, lovers, even rivals." Maya felt a smile break across her face. Each idea was a thread connecting their past, present, and future. This wasn't just about the mural, it felt like the beginnings of something bigger, a revival of their town's spirit. But in the distance, the burly man stood, arms crossed, an iceberg in the tide of excitement. His followers watched, their expressions a mix of curiosity and loyalty. They seemed uncertain about the course of this new wave of energy. Change doesn't come easy, Maya thought to herself as she turned back to the meeting. Yet amidst their enthusiasm, a soft voice spoke up, a voice filled with doubt. "What if we can't pull it off?" It was a younger man, trembling with uncertainty. "What if they don't come? What if the burly man stops us?" Maya looked around. A ripple of apprehension echoed through the group. The younger man's voice was like a crack in the otherwise bold facade. "Change can be scary, but look around us." Maya gestured to the crowd, her heart swelling with pride. "Look at all this support. We can't let one person's fear drown out our hope. We're building something beautiful." As the crowd murmured in agreement, she felt a surge of confidence. They could make this work. But an unsettling thought loomed in the back of her mind. What if the burly man had a plan? What if he could undermine their efforts? Once again, doubt pierced through the enthusiasm. That evening, as the sun set, the square transformed into a bustling hub of planning and laughter. The laughter mingled with the faint sounds of hammers, nails, and paint brushes. They painted their thoughts on paper, each stroke a part of the vibrant mural they hoped to create. But just as she thought they could rest easy, a familiar voice called out into the gathering dusk. "You may celebrate, but remember there's trouble brewing. We won't let you rewrite history without a fight." Maya turned, her heart pounding. The burly man had appeared at the edge of the crowd, his followers behind him like shadows. The air turned thick with tension once more. "This festival may be your front, but I assure you, the truth has a way of coming to light," he continued, malevolence lurking in his tone. Maya's breath caught. Would the fear he cast truly extinguish their flame? She could feel her heart pitter-pattering, an involuntary dance of anxiety. In that moment, she knew they needed more than just hope, they needed a plan. They needed to arm themselves not just with laughter but resolve. Would they be able to stand against the tides of doubt? As uncertainty twisted in her gut, she steeled her nerves. "I want to let this mural become a battleground," she thought fiercely. The challenge loomed large, but deep down, Maya felt the ember of determination flicker back to life. She glanced around at the crowd, recognizing that they were aligned, hearts beating as one, but time was running out. The real test of courage lay ahead. What would happen when the festival drew near? Would they hold firm against the storm, or would they falter under pressure? Maya stayed rooted to the spot, each heartbeat echoing her resolve. The burly man's words hung heavy in the air, a dark cloud looming over their vibrant plans. Behind him, his followers shifted, their faces casting shadows on hope. She glanced at Rachel, whose eyes mirrored Maya's anxiety, yet she could sense the pulse of determination beneath her friend's worried exterior. "Let us not get distracted," Maya called out, injecting a buoyant energy into the group. "We can face this challenge together, but we need clarity and strength." The crowd turned, absorbing her words, though uncertainty still loomed like an uninvited guest. "Should we gather more support?" Rachel suggested quietly, her brow furrowed in thought. "Maybe reaching out to those who haven't been part of this, people who don't know about this burly man's intentions." "Yes!" Maya exclaimed, a spark igniting inside her. "We can build alliances, share our plans, spread the word. Let us remind them what our community stands for." The group buzzed with excitement, voices rising as they developed strategies. Posters began to take shape. They designed flyers that exuded warmth, showcasing their vision for the festival, a celebration of diversity, a celebration of life. But somewhere beneath the rush, doubt lingered. What if their efforts were met with disdain? What if the burly man's influence spread? The questions circled Maya's mind like a hawk waiting for its moment, but she shook them off. With newfound determination, they split into teams. Some to create promotional materials, others to engage local businesses, and some to rally support online. Maya found herself with a small team brainstorming ideas about how to draw people in. "Live music would be great," suggested Enzo, tapping his pencil against the table. "Everyone loves music, it pulls people together." "Yeah. And maybe we can have a community dance," Maya added, her spirits lifting. "A way for everyone to let loose, feel the joy." Laughter erupted around the table, rekindling the fire stirring in her chest. For a moment, worries about the burly man faded, replaced by a sense of belonging, a connection among them all. As the evening unfolded, the town square transformed into a canvas of creativity, vibrant colors splashed across cardboard cutouts. One by one, families came to join, bringing stories and laughter. Amidst the energy, Maya felt something shift inside her, a kind of strength she hadn't known was there. But then she noticed a familiar figure lingering at the edge of the square. The burly man, watching, his eyes piercing through the laughter and chatter. He hadn't left, he wanted to reclaim control. Don't let him intimidate you. A voice broke through Maya's thoughts. It was Tom, standing nearby, his knuckles clenched. We're all in this together. His fear doesn't have a place here. What if his fear isn't just empty threats? Someone spoke up hesitantly. What if he has more influence than we think? The group fell silent, the reality of their vulnerability settling in like a weight. Maya felt her heart race again. She took a breath, fueled by a fierce emotion surging within her, a diamond amidst the chaos. Fear can be loud, she said, her voice firm. But we are louder, and we will be united. Let us not back down, let us show him that our stories matter, that our hopes matter. With every sentence, Maya could feel the hope in the room shift. Eyes sparkled, hearts resonated, and for the first time in a long while, people started to believe. Maybe the mural isn't just a piece of art, Maya mused aloud, her voice ringing with newfound belief. It's a testament to who we are, it symbolizes our spirit, our fight. We need to stand strong together. As excitement cascaded through the square, a shiver of apprehension lingered. How would they respond when the burly man struck? What would happen if their unity became his weapon? The festival was just days away, and the stakes had never felt higher. With a simmering anticipation building, Maya knew they were on the precipice of something monumental. But even as resolve gathered among them, she couldn't shake the feeling that a storm was brewing, and she began to wonder what would happen when that storm broke. The square thrummed with excitement, yet Maya's pulse flickered uneasily. She watched the burdensome figure of the burly man, his shadow stretching ominously over the vibrant murals they painted with so much hope. Waves of laughter and chatter washed over her, but in the back of her mind, a warning bell rang louder with each passing moment. Okay, let us regroup. Maya called, her voice striving to rise above the vibe of joy. The team, still brimming with enthusiasm, shifted their focus back to her. We need to finalize our plans. We can't let anything catch us off guard. Rachel stepped forward. What about safety? She asked, her voice quivering slightly as if she sensed the looming threat. We can't ignore the reality that he might try to disrupt our event. Maya nodded, recognizing the truth hidden behind Rachel's worried eyes. You're right. We need a safety strategy. Let us designate a few volunteers as security, just to keep an eye out. The gathering murmured in agreement, the weight of their situation starting to sink in. As they huddled closer together, Maya reminded herself of the mission that lay ahead. They were not just fighting to keep a festival alive, they were nurturing a community and defending their right to celebrate who they were. With a shared determination, they drafted a plan. Volunteers would stand at strategic corners, ready to intervene if things turned tense. Maya felt a sense of solidarity bonding them further, a flicker of light cutting through the darkness threatening to overshadow their intention. Let us hit the streets tonight. Tom exclaimed, his excitement igniting the group once more. We'll spread our flyers and talk to everyone we can. Great idea, Maya encouraged. The more voices united, the stronger we stand. As they dispersed into the town, Maya found herself beside Rachel. The cool evening breeze wrapped around them, a comforting embrace. Do you really think we can pull this off? Rachel asked, anxiety flickering in her tone. What if his supporters are more powerful? Maya felt the weight of her friend's doubt, but she had to remain steadfast. We have more power than we realize, she replied emphatically. Every person we connect with tonight, every story we share, grows our strength. We are standing up for our future. The streets glowed under soft lamplight, and Maya looked into the faces of the townspeople. Many warmly greeted them, their willing smiles kindling a united spirit. She spoke passionately, explaining the festival's purpose, the mural's significance, and most importantly, why every single person mattered, but as they rounded a corner, Maya stopped short. Ahead stood the burly man, flanked by his followers. The crowd naturally gravitated toward him, a part of them drawn into his magnetic pull. Maya's guts twisted. "What do we do?" Rachel whispered beside her, her expression a mix of fear and elation. Maya took a breath, steeling herself. This was it. "We stand together. We aren't backing down. We must show them who we are." She marched forward, heart pounding as she faced the adversary. The townspeople behind her faltered, eyes darting nervously, but the fear reflecting in their expressions only fueled Maya's inner fire. "Listen," she called out, her voice steady but passionate, "this festival is for all of us, every story, every dream, and every hope. We choose community over division." Slowly, faces began to turn toward her, the curious, the concerned, the hopeful. Maya felt a wave of warmth wash over her as eyes sparkled with understanding. But as she glanced back, she caught sight of the burly man's expression darkening, a storm brewing in his gaze. "Why should I care about your little festival?" he boomed, the words exploding like a thunderclap. Maya's heart raced as tension crackled in the air. This was the moment, a test of strength and resolve. Would the crowd rise, or would they falter? As silence stretched, Maya felt the undeniable pull of unity, a force of voices echoing her passion. But just then, a loud crash shattered the moment. A voice cut through the crowd, shrill and panicked. What had happened? The storm she feared was breaking, and Maya's heart screamed as she prepared for the chaos looming ahead. The moment hung heavy, electricity pulsing through the crowd as they faced the burly man. Frustration writhed within Maya. She looked around and saw the vulnerability in the eyes of her friends, her family, the townsfolk she had grown up with. They were scared, and it tugged at her heart. They needed her courage more than ever. "What happened?" Rachel whispered, gripping Maya's arm tightly as her eyes darted toward the crowd. Then she heard it. A crash followed by cries of surprise. The tension shattered. Maya turned instinctively, scanning the square. It was a fallen sign, knocked over by a gust of wind, but the angered crowd was already spiraling. "Just what we need." The burly man laughed, a heavy, mocking sound that sent a wave of doubt washing over the gathering. "See? This is what happens when you prop up fairy tales." Maya felt her hope dimming, but another voice rang out, a gentle yet firm tone. It was Mrs. Wills, stepping forward, clutching her book tightly. "No, this is just life. Life is messy. But we're stronger than that. This festival is a chance to show that our community can come together despite chaos." Hope flickered at the edges of despair. Maya felt it ripple through her as everyone's eyes turned back to her. This was the moment, and she could either sink into fear or rise with resilience. Taking a deep breath, she stepped forward, silencing herself from any doubts. "Each setback brings us closer," Maya shouted, her voice rising with urgency. "Our mural represents our strength. It's about remembering our stories, our laughter, and yes, even our struggles." She turned her gaze on the burly man. "What you call nonsense is our lifeline. You may want to erase our memories, but we will not be silenced." Murmurs of agreement surged from the crowd. She could feel their spirits lifting. The burly man's smirk faltered, and as her words echoed, she saw flickers of determination in the others around her. "We carry our history with pride." A woman chimed in from the back, her voice gaining strength in the collective momentum. "Yes. The truth is, nobody here wants to let go of what makes Elmwood special. It's bigger than one person's vision of progress," shouted Tom, his face aglow with passion. Maya seized that energy, pushing her point home. "Art isn't just paint on a wall. It's a reflection of hope. It captures our dreams, and right now, it can bring us together like nothing else. This is about building a richer future. We can grow without losing our roots." The crowd cheered, a collective voice rising against doubt. It was loud now, a symphony of unity. The shifting tide encouraged more voices to join. Let us show them our strength. Let South Paint River Road together. But the burly man refused to accept defeat. His voice boomed over the crowd. You think that's enough? A few cheers. You call that support? Maya straightened. No, this is just the beginning. Together, we're unstoppable. Now, it's time to believe in our power. As if to punctuate her words, the sun broke through the clouds, casting brilliance over the square. Hope blossomed everywhere she looked. Friends clutched each other, smiling wide. Even her father stepped forward, a reluctant smile breaking through his stoic mask. Do this for us, Maya. Show the world, he said quietly. That simple phrase solidified it for her. This wasn't just about her dream anymore, it was about Elmwood, about family, about standing strong together as one. Maya. Rachel called, excitement swelling in her eyes. We need to make a plan right now. Let us tell everyone what is happening and rally support. Absolutely. Thoughts rushed in like birds taking flight. We can share our stories, our visions. It's time to show everyone that our festival isn't for one, it's for all, for every person who has ever called Elmwood home. The crowd erupted in applause, energy transforming into action. They spread out, just like colored paint over a canvas, vibrantly beginning to work on their new vision for the festival. As they organized, the burly man stood on the sidelines, his rage simmering. But their unity blazed brighter. A beacon of resilience casting shadows back toward him. Later that evening, as the sun dipped lower and painted the sky pink and orange, Maya gathered her friends. No matter what happens, we've shown the spirit of Elmwood, together. Let this mural shine as a reminder of who we are. Each one nodded, a shared understanding wrapping around them. They were a community, and no shadow could veil their light. As the festival day approached, excitement buzzed in the air. They decorated the square, painted faces, and prepared stories, and the world around them swirled with vibrant colors. The pressure buzzed from the burly man, but it didn't matter. They had found their strength. When the day of the festival arrived, the air tasted electric. Maya stood at the center, heart racing, excitement mixed with nerves. Gathered around were hundreds of familiar faces, town folks who believed in one another. Laughter erupted and smiles bloomed. As they unveiled the mural, colors burst forth in a cacophony of expression. Each stroke told a story of resilience, connection, and beauty, and Maya felt the tears climb to her eyes. Today isn't just about art, she declared, the passion soaring in her chest. It's about hope. It's about us. Everyone cheered, their voices melting into a harmony of joy. The burly man stood back, frustration etched on his face, but the crowd had transcended his shadow. Together, hand in hand, they celebrated not just a mural, but a new beginning, a fresh chapter of unity, passion, and stories sacred to them all. Maya took a deep breath, her heart full. They had fought for this moment, and it was worth every struggle. They had discovered their worth by embracing their hopes. The art around her wasn't just paint, it was their shared journey, and the love flowed infinitely. The townspeople danced, laughed, and cried. And just like that, Elmwood breathed anew. Hope had triumphed, transforming them all. In that moment, she realized something profound: every dream matters, and every voice is a powerful brushstroke on life's canvas. And as the sun set, glowing above them all, Maya knew she had finally stepped into her own light, ready to share her vibrant spirit with the world. This was a journey worth celebrating. Now, before your heart settles into the warmth of completion, I need you to act. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will touch your heart as this one has. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, every click matters. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending, because your voice is vital, and above all, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation for themselves. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of backing our journey together.